Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Senior View Hump Day webinar. My name is Melissa Smith. I'm the VP of Strategic Communications here at Senior View. This webinar is titled Why Pricing Transparency Works in Senior Living. Our webinar will be led today by Senior View CEO Tim Donnelly, and our VP of Digital Marketing, Billy Daniels, will join him for various sections of the webinar. Thanks to all of you who've joined us today. Okay, Tim, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Melissa. What a wonderful day.
Oh, it's
Wednesday,
beautiful.
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
We're at the peak.
The pinnacle.
Yeah. When you get up to the peak, you know what you want to do? You want to look down.
Oh.
You don't want clouds. You don't want the fog.
Mm-mm.
You want to look down and see clarity, transparency. Ironic.
Wow.
It's
That
Hump
was-
Day.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Yeah.
The title of our webinar today is Why Pricing Transparency Works in Senior Living. We're going to talk not only about that, but a whole bunch of stuff that's connected to transparency. Let's get started. So at Senior View, we've got a mission, and that's to deliver, Billy, value. And make it transparent and do it with a red carpet. So that's our mission. We want to do our best. And we have a motto that helps us have a really, really strong foundation. That's work to live, live to serve for the greater good. So that's on our wall. That's actually a picture on our wall, as you know, but the viewers out there, the listeners, that's our headquarters right there in Kansas City. In Kansas City, you know what? It's right in the middle of the United States. And it's also the home and the birthplace of Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney lived here, went to the Kansas City Art Institute, and that's where Mickey Mouse was born. He started drawing little characters in art school, and one of them was this little mouse. And it's also the home of shuttlecocks. What the heck? Yes, those are real. Those are on the lawn of our museum here in Kansas City, the Nelson Atkins. And that's my neighborhood. That's it's just, some pets roam. It's Cowtown.
What type of cows are those?
Those are not, those are heifers. Those are cows, Billy.
Cows.
Cattle.
Thank you for clarifying.
And you know what, my homie? This is the home.
Oh, yeah.
Of my homie. Patrick Mahomes. Had a pretty good game last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big
so
win.
what are we going to, Billy, what are we really going to talk about here?
You tell me.
All right. Well, I'm going to get right to it. We're going to talk about the customer experience, because if you can have complete transparency on that customer experience, great things are going to happen. We'll talk also about how to build a strategy connected to delivering a great experience for the family, how to measure the efficacy of that experience, how to build a plan that you can deliver. And at the end of the day, let's measure it. Let's do a little ROI calculation. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to use some connections to other industries, other disruptors out there that set a new norm, a pretty high benchmark.
Yeah.
Uber, Prime Now, Yelp, they've all focused on delivering a great experience to their customers. You want to get from point A to point B, you're going to Uber it. And you know what? You're going to make sure that you provide feedback on that experience. That's the first thing that happens when you log back into the Uber. I Uber everywhere when I travel. And I love it.
Don't even own a car, do you? You don't.
As far as you know.
Right.
No.
Yeah, because you Uber everywhere.
Yeah, Uber everywhere. Prime Now, it is the season of Prime Now. I need it today, baby. We got a Christmas party. I got to get that package today. And if I'm going to impress my spouse, my lovely wife, Judy, I'm going to make sure that restaurant that I'm going to take her to has a whole bunch of good feedback. And I'm going to know what to order too. So I want to impress her.
Right.
I mean, what is it? 20 some odd years, 26 years of marriage. I want to impress her every day.
Wedding bliss.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's talk specifically about senior living. Yes. Senior living. It has a problem. One of the problems is this whole callback. So somebody raises their hand and they don't get a response. The average in the industry is 1 to 2 days. We actually did this webinar not too long ago for Debbie Howard's group, and it was amazing on the feedback that we got from that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the end of the day, maybe tomorrow.
Right.
What was good is that it wasn't the end of the week. There's
No
zero
end of the week.
0% of people that were calling back by the end of the week. Most everybody's 1 to 2 days. Well, you know what? That's a problem because it's the Uber-like experience. 1 to 2 days is not good enough.
No. What if your Uber showed up the day after you needed it?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No. This time of year, no.
Yeah.
No. In Kansas City, no. We got snow on the ground. So, and if you don't respond to that lead quickly, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be climbing a mountain. Probably on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's hump day on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Big humps.
And if you do your job, if you actually respond quickly, 80% of the time you're going to get chosen. It's a good carrot, right? Put that carrot out there. And, you know, I'll use the analogy on this last one. If you do this consistently, you're going to reap some really good rewards. Like if you're training for a marathon, which I know you're a bike rider, you exercise.
Yeah.
If you manage your intake of carbohydrates correctly, your performance can go up 4 times. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
incredible.
So sales teams, they need to probably start running marathons.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love it.
No, it's so we've got a lot of good stuff here. And the next issue that the industry has is transparency.
A problem.
They don't have it.
Yeah.
They are not taking the lead from Southwest Airlines. And to prove that point, I found a search here, some results that actually prove that. And it said, hey, you've got a problem, senior living industry. You don't share the prices online. What do you think about that?
I think it's critical for the senior living industry to change in terms of they need to start being more transparent and deliver what people are looking for. So that instant gratification. We see this in the digital marketing strategies that we're doing is it's the number one thing people are searching for in terms of Google, Bing, or online anywhere, any other different search engines that they are looking for pricing, but they're not able to find it. And they're trying to gate these things. So unfortunately, no one's able to qualify themselves, right? When we want these leads to better qualify themselves. So the senior living industry is critical for them to start to display these prices, or what I would say is even more is what's included in the pricing. What sorts of care is being offered in this pricing, and giving the consumer the idea of what the expectation is. And that's what Southwest has done. Southwest said, this is the price. This is what it's going to cost you to fly anywhere. There's no additional fees. You can bring a bag, you can bring 2 bags, you can do that. So why aren't we doing that in the senior living industry? It's a change that needs to be done. These communities, these companies need to start realizing that this is what people are looking for when they go online and look for different types of services, and they want to know what to expect.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, hopefully later on. All right. So here's one. I was down in Nashville. I'm driving the family from Kansas City all the way down to Florida. I've got all these different stops along the way. Nashville was one of them. Had to do a quick search on where to go get a good bite to eat. Hattie B's. Look at how many reviews are on Hattie B's. Over 5,000. Yeah. That's number one place. If you like chicken, go to Hattie B's. Anyway, so I said, well, I'm just gonna check the senior living. How many senior living places are
I'm
around?
nervous.
So and this is disclaimer. This is nothing against whoever shows up. All right. So Belmont Village shows up. I guess they're somewhere in Nashville. They've got 2 reviews. 2 reviews. And the other one, Blakeford at Green Hills, it doesn't even have any.
0.
Do we have a problem?
Huge problem. And this is a big thing in terms of the hospitality industry. I'll go back to the restaurant of that. They have done a great job of developing that journey that a consumer goes on from that initial touch point of creating that reservation to coming into the restaurant and then then going to, or then afterwards, after the reservation is completed, you've gone sending post-transactional emails to get these reviews. And that's where senior living is not doing that right now, is that we are not getting any sort of transparency in getting these emails out to the consumer after they've moved in or they've toured the facility. I mean, it's a no-brainer when it comes to these marketing automation things that I don't understand why they're not doing this.
I look at it, not to cut you off. I
No,
look
no,
at
no.
it. I'm going to go back to marathon run, right? So you're training for a marathon. You're eating the carbohydrates like you should be. You actually do the race. You finish. You get across the finish line, and that's it.
Right.
You're done. You are done. There's no. You don't even go get a medal, right?
Right.
You're done.
Right. You're exhausted.
And that's what's happening here. These senior living communities get a move in, and then they're like, it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no. Yeah, Hattie B's, they're fighting for those reviews.
Yeah,
they are, and Yelp's helping them.
Yeah.
And I think it's incredibly important that the industry make a better effort to get feedback, and that's going to provide transparency to the families, and that's going to help them make a faster decision.
Yeah, I love that analogy. That was really good because when you get done at the end of a race, you're not going to refuel you're not going to not refuel your body, right?
Yeah.
And so why aren't we feeding ourselves
reviews?
Yeah, exactly.
Hattie B's and reviews.
Right.
That's the theme of this new webinar.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the happy path of a journey, a senior living family journey. It starts with making sure that your brand is recognized from those around you in your footprint, in your backyard. And then you have the life event. You have these different process points as families explore their options. So that's up top. And then the journey of the senior living community is below. And what we're doing is trying to match those different milestone points in the journey. And so we're going to talk about each one of those. We're going to talk at a 30,000 foot view, and we're going to get down, Billy, we're going to get down into the weeds.
Ooh, I like it.
All right. So let's do that. First of all, when a life event happens, if you're not familiar with the communities down the street or around the block, you're going to go to Google. Just like I was the youngest of 6. Both parents went through the process. Dad went through it first, Alzheimer's. This is about 12 years ago or so. And so my mom was a caregiver, lived with it every day, providing care to our father, who had memory issues, falls in the shower. Mom has a nervous breakdown. Oldest brother has to go by and get dad out of the shower. Humiliating. Have to move dad into a memory care facility like tomorrow. What do we do? How are we going to pay for it? Do we know that, do we know all the options available to us? It was like a mad dash. And we went to Google. I'm the youngest. I was the Google son, the Google kid. So I had to do that. And it was not a great experience.
Right.
So if you're a senior living community, the question is, how important is it for you to be found? And what are you doing to make sure that you are there when the need occurs? And how much are you spending on being a part of that first impression? I changed that, actually. I just changed that. How much do you want to be a part of it?
Right.
So if Google results occur, are you showing up? And of course, A Place for Mom, and there's a few others that are always going to be top shelf. And those
being dominated by
aggregators. Yeah. Well, so let's go ahead and take a look. When this occurs, how much of this is done at the desk, and how much of this is done in the family room of your parents' house? So it's what's interesting is that mobile device gets more action.
Oh yeah.
Not
only just in conversions, but in impressions and how many people are searching online.
Yeah.
So, and this is just a testament to, and there's definitely, you're crossing devices. So you're crossing platforms in terms of they might do their initial search for senior living communities while they're on the go. The example of your father of, there's that life crisis happens at any given moment. So people are turning to their mobile devices and trying to find that service or care. And it is dominated. And the other thing is these click to call aspects of the mobile device is making sure that your website landing pages, whatever you're driving your paid traffic to or organic traffic to, that it is optimized for the user's experience. And that's what this is really showing, is that you can have high conversion rates in these areas where, if you compare it to different industries, it's fairly low, but you have to have the correct user experience on that landing page.
Yeah.
The click to call, correct call to actions, easily to consume the content that is on the page, but then given a purpose. The page has to have a purpose.
Exactly. So what about this? Those that visit those landing pages, how many of them actually raise their hand? Right.
Yeah.
So this tells a story.
Right.
The healthcare industry, you have a lot of window shoppers, a lot of tired
Yeah.
kickers.
Yeah.
And so if you can develop relevant content, you might get a better result.
Absolutely. Relevant content in the form of answering the question that they're trying to find right now. So pricing, go back to pricing. Why would you send someone to a page that doesn't talk about pricing when they're looking for pricing?
Yeah.
And that's a problem. I mean, that's a simple example and a simple solution. But yeah, determine what keywords are driving people to your site and start to develop pages and content that are relevant to what they're searching, because it's the right message, right time is what we need to be doing. Not this send them to your homepage type aspect. We need to be sending them to pages that are designed to convert and help the consumer at that time. They're in a crisis, so help them.
Yes, exactly. All right. So I'm going to let you kind of talk to some of these things here. And because it's important, you've got a lot of people searching, right?
Yeah. That's the theme of this slide, is that you can see by the year-over-year increases in just searches across all devices, 24% increase year-over-year from 2018 to 2019. And then more importantly is, like we said earlier, the mobile devices. It's only this, if you are not being found online right now, your community or your brand, and you're in the senior living industry, this slide should be a shock to you, because this is only going to increase. And not the percentages might increase, but the number of searches, the 1.5 million searches, it's not slowing down. There's more and more people.
The silver tsunami is coming.
There's more and more people coming into that need this service, this care, and you need to be found. And if you're not, you need to change your tactics.
Yep. All right. So let's get into where action happens. When rubber meets the road, this is where something happened.
Right.
And they can't wait any longer. The family has to interact. So how important is it to provide a great first experience on that human interaction? Right. So that's the question.
Right.
And then what is your community doing to have an urgency, an Uber-like urgency, to get connected to that family?
Right.
Is it the end of the day? Is it next week?
That's the unfortunate answer right now.
Yeah, it's a crisis is going on.
And
just think about the mindset of the family.
Right.
I mean, they are in dire need of answers. They want to talk to somebody. They want to cry on somebody's shoulder.
Right. I keep thinking, as you were saying that, I keep thinking about the Uber example again, of if you scheduled an Uber and it didn't come.
Shows up the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
How pissed are you?
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is a very important deal. So let's look at this. 60% of the inquiries are missed or go to voicemail.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like when somebody raises their hand, when somebody makes an inbound phone call, it's like 60% of the time a live person is not there. 80% of the time when that happens, when nobody's there, they don't leave a voicemail.
Yeah, they bounce. They go on to the next community. What's the next phone number I can call?
Yeah. And then if this happens, it's 35% of the time after hours.
Wow.
Or on the weekends.
Which makes sense. People have jobs. People have to work. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, crises do happen after hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or on the weekends, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing at Senior View. So it's visibility, right? It's transparency. So the most important thing that we realized early on is that you need the mission control page. You need the mission control dashboard. And so that allows us to have visibility at a high level with drill down capabilities. And this is just a screenshot of what we're doing for our clients through our platform, our lead management platform. And so this fully integrates with the CRMs, the Sherpas, the Inquirers, or Salesforce. Doesn't matter the CRM, but this allows us to have, or to provide our clients with full transparency of what's happening at the top of the funnel and as it moves down.
Right.
So it's critical that we do this out of the gate, because when people come into our world, they want to make sure that they're moving the needle with us.
Right. Down funnel success.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right, let's take a look at when the inquiry happens, but they're trying to go through their decision-making process. We call this lead nurturing, right? What percentage of the leads that go dormant actually resurface later? Billy, this was your homework.
This was my homework. Yeah.
What we're finding is that it's anywhere from 8 to 12% of the move-ins that happen were from the past.
Yeah. Wow.
Is that? I mean, it's like, and if communities, if they're not on top of it, they're going to miss out on a huge portion of move-ins.
Right.
I mean, so that goes back to our old mortgage days. It's like, what was the percentage? Ironically, that percentage was 9% of all closed loans in the mortgage industry come from what they called aged leads. No, I didn't want to use that term.
Right.
Here.
Right.
It's probably not a good idea, but that's the way they termed it. But so that's why they spent so much money on lead nurturing. So these companies that bring in leads from a variety of sources, they're gonna have those quick hits, those low hanging fruit situations where they transact quickly.
Right.
And so what we're finding is that if you don't spend the time and effort on those leads that went dormant, you're going to miss out.
Right.
Up to 10%.
Yeah. That's crazy. The lead nurturing aspect of it, or the marketing automation side of it, is so important. And that question that you had on there, what percentage of leads come back after being dormant in 12 months? It would be interesting. What I would like to know is a follow-up question, just to the industry, is what percentage of companies, communities are using marketing automation to stay in front of those leads?
Well, we know, we hear it quite often. We hear that the HubSpots of the world that are creeping into the industry, which again, it's whatever you use, you just need to use something.
Right.
And we believe the reason why we got into this industry is because of the power of our marketing automation platform that sits behind the lead management platform. We built it 18 years ago. We worked our tails off maturing it, and we went up against HubSpot all the time. And in 90% of the time we won. But it's because of our ability to integrate with industry specific platforms.
Right.
It's our ability to connect the status changes to the new line of messaging. And it's all about relevant messaging.
So that journey, as the journey changes or the path changes, the messages change as well.
And if you don't have the integration in place, it's really hard to send the right message to the right person at the right time.
Right.
All right. Yes, Valissa is going to jump in.
Well, I do, because we have one of our panelists who popped in with this remark, which I think is timely for you guys to hear. And that is, on average, she says, we call back 90% of inquiries within 15 minutes, but they still aren't converting most inquiries to tours.
Wow.
What's your take on that?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. No, well, a couple of things. what we do at Senior View is we transcribe all of the conversations that we have with the contacts made. So every single phone conversation that we have, we convert that, we record it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually we're working on, and I think this is in the next 30, 60 days, we're converting that to text, and we're using an AI tool that will enable us to look further into what is working and what's not.
Right. And measure empathy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's at the root of it. So whatever the outcome is, at least we'll be able to analyze it.
Right.
But I think if you're calling these leads back within a good time frame, 15 minutes in my mind is okay. It's not Olympic standards.
Right. Right.
So I think that's number one. I think if you move that up, you might see a better result. Number two, the lead nurturing, the email triggers or texting triggers that go out from a true marketing automation platform to confirm that you received their inquiry, to mention where they're at in the process. Thanks for the conversation on the phone.
Right.
Here's some more information about what we talked about. So when you're bringing in good sized lead volume, you need to automate that, because you're not going to be able to rely on a human to sit there and keep up with all the different moving parts throughout the sales cycle.
Yeah.
So that's why automation is so important. Sending the right message to the right person at the right time. You build the rules and logic within the marketing automation platform connected to the CRM and lead management platform. Boom.
Right. I think for what I see in this and how I 100% agree. I think first off, that they're reaching 90% of their inquiries in 15 minutes. That's not the norm that we see when we talk to clients. So I think that there's some praise there of great job. But I think the next step that I would look at, if you're not converting those leads and you're getting in touch with them, what are the sources of these leads? Where are they coming from?
That's a good point.
And that's what our platform is specifically designed to do, is to help you understand where to maximize your time and give time back to the sales and marketing people. So I would, Tina, I would be interested to know those different sources that your leads are coming from, and if there's any way to eliminate the ones that aren't converting and then maximize your efforts on the ones that are converting. So I would start to dive into that data of the visibility you have.
Okay, let's talk real quick about what we're seeing as far as the norm with lead nurturing. The average number of emails sent per lead, 12. Of those that are open, 4. And of those that take action on that email when they open it, 5%. 5% of the overall emails sent. So that's an industry average for senior living, right?
Right.
Okay, let's get to when a great thing happens. Success happens.
That tour.
You broke the 4-hour, mark for your marathon. You did your long run, your 22-mile run, whatever it is. This is when you worked your butt off to get a lead to show up on the front doorstep.
Right.
And so it's really all about that great experience, right? This is it. You're on stage. So what's your community doing to provide an exceptional tour experience?
Yeah. What is the community doing? Yeah, I think this is where improvement at the community has to happen in terms of getting the leads to have a great first impression. If you got to the lead within less than 5 minutes and then there was no one at the community for the tour, it's a terrible experience.
How many times does this happen where somebody schedules a tour? Right, the family shows up, the salesperson welcomes them, and they're like, "Well, tell me why you're here again."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tell me a little
Who
bit.
Are you?
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about your situation. And then the family's like, "Well, we told you this over the phone."
Right. I've already talked to you.
Yeah, and so I've got to regurgitate everything. That's not a great experience.
No. Right.
What's a great experience is when you show up, like when you show up to a hospitality location, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant, and they call you by name.
Yeah.
Oh, we have your room ready. Would you like us to schedule your massage, Billy?
Right.
Like you usually do.
Always, yes.
So those are little things that can make a really big difference. And so what we do, we're just trying to help, right, in the process. So deliver a great experience for that family. What we do is we send a text alert or an email to the salesperson at the community, and it lets them listen to the conversation that led to the tour.
Wow.
So
the call recording.
Yeah, the call recording. It's a one-click, boom, you're in, you're listening to the recording. And it helps give context to that salesperson to do a better job of that first impression, that face-to-face impression. You're doing the Ritz-Carlton thing, right? You're welcoming them in and knowing a little bit about them.
Right. That's incredible. Those are the little touches that allow the consumer's experience with your brand to increase their what they believe is going to be good. Yeah, and then you're highlighting the call recording in the platform there, and I think it's a good thing. And maybe you're going to go here. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your feet here, but not only is that available in the platform, it's available in the mobile app.
Absolutely.
So if they're on the go, we know everyone at the community is amazingly busy, and they need to be given back time. Well, that app helps them with that aspect.
Yeah. So we covered all the really important parts of this journey of this family, and we just talked about a few opportunities for the industry to do a better job in delivering a great experience. We're doing everything we can at Senior View to help in that process. And so, a question, one of the final questions. Do you believe this is the end of the journey for the family?
No.
We talked about something early on.
Yeah.
You get them to move in, you cross the finish line,
right?
And you think you're done?
No.
Nope.
Are you satisfied?
No.
No.
You need to get that online review.
Yeah.
You need to deliver a great experience for that new resident.
Right.
We all know that the first 30, 60 days are really, really important of that new resident.
Yeah. And that needs to be automated, built into the journey.
Yeah. Guess what?
What?
We have a little surprise here.
Oh no.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, honestly. Yes. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah. No. This is our Christmas present to the listeners. The 9 strategies to increase occupancy rate.
Oh, this is great.
So, out of these 9, Billy. So you're sitting on Santa's lap. Let's say you're an executive director of Billy Daniels Senior Living Community. Okay. What are the top 3 wishes that you're going to ask for from Santa?
Top 3.
Top 3.
My top 3.
Your top 3. Most important to your community.
I think pricing and online reviews is within my top 3. I'm not saying it's number 1. Because I think that sets the tone of the expectation with the consumer, with your brand. Number 1 is going to be speed to lead, just of what I've learned over the last few years of how important that is and critical. And back to that 80% of the leads go with who it gets in touch with them first. Well, I want to be in that 80% of getting in touch with leads. So speed to lead, pricing, and online reviews are my 2. And then just because I understand I have an email background, nurturing the prospect to the tour is going to be my next one. Because I think that the industry in a whole, I'm not saying anyone individually is fumbling over that right now. They're not doing a great job, and it's because of lack of integration with these platforms. So it would be, what do I need to do in my community to get my sales and marketing people to understand the importance of automating that nurturing process?
Melissa's got a question from someone.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. A question. What kind of results does Senior View get with the communities that you're working with?
Oh, great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
Results in terms of tours,
they
leads?
didn't say
Overall.
specifically.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
just said,
You got this, Tim.
Yeah. I'll take the high level one. You take the stuff down in the weeds.
Okay. Got it.
So one of our very best clients, we know that we're moving the needle for them. I think the number was they were in the low 80s occupancy rate across the board. And so after how many months of doing that? What, about 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
6 months. They're up to 89.
Yeah,
89%.
Crazy.
So I can't remember. It's more than 50 communities that they have. And so if you can think about that, that's moving the needle.
That's huge.
Yeah. We've got some of our clients who are getting, it's about, 4 additional move-ins just by answering the phone on the weekends. They're transferring those calls into us. Right. So 4 additional move-ins per month. Yeah. And I can't remember the number of communities.
That's what I was going to say. That's not per community. You're saying across our portfolio.
Yeah, it's like 23, I think.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. What else you got, Billy?
I think the biggest thing that I think when I'm out meeting with clients and having discussions with them, I think the thing they're most impressed with is our contact rate. I think that those are some of the results that kind of wow them. We are getting some of our clients, we have 100% contact rate, which some people go, that can't be possible. It's true. I mean, and that's voice to voice. So if someone calls in or fills out a form, we're contacting them almost 100% of the time across the board. So, and I think that's what it takes to get that move in. Yes.
Move the needle.
Yes. And we're not saying
top of the summit.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that sales and marketing people are not able to do that. They have so much stuff they're already doing. Why don't you have somebody that's vetting some of these leads and putting them into a status, the disposition that allows them to be nurtured or move the needle to the next level? So,
okay.
Yes,
we've got another question.
Yeah, there's a question around that in the contact center. They want to understand, who are the folks in the contact center and how does the contact center work at Senior View?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
So, based out of Kansas City, the heart of America, is where our contact center is. It's right here in the same building.
We can see it.
Yeah. So it's just outside. So there are family advocate managers, our FAM team. That's what we call them. We love them. They are very skilled workers. Many of them actually come from the healthcare industry, former nurses. And so we made a decision to bring in high quality people helping the families navigate the journey. And so those people that they're taking diligent notes, those calls are recorded. All that information is shared with our clients at the community and at the corporate offices as well. All that information passes into their CRM, whatever CRM they're using. And so that's our process. We've got most of them actually work in this facility, but we do have some remote.
Right.
We have strict compliance around those remote team members, FAM team members. But that's how we handle it. And we know that that's a part of our business that will likely grow. It's doubled in size over the past 6 months, I believe. And it's really important for us that we continually optimize that side of our business.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to this last part. So when you look at the top here, when we've got visibility, that's a transparency. We've got information that's also connected to transparency. We've got control in our DIY platform, the platform that allows you to get into the weeds, get into the nuts and bolts of things, and to really build workflows, content that allow you to deliver a great experience to that family.
Right.
It's all integrated with the different components of this ecosystem, whether it's the EHS, CRMs, chat providers. All of that is part of our solution. So we are offering those that are out there in the listener land to participate in a free service that will provide and help you understand what your customer experience looks like. So we'll provide a free audit. It's 5 hours of service that will analyze that and make recommendations. There's no obligations to it. We believe that it serves a greater good for the industry because if we're not helping deliver a great experience for families, what are they going to do? They're going to keep their family member in the house longer. I know from both my parents, especially my mom who was in the house by herself, there's a guilt on the family side that there's loneliness being experienced by the parent,
right,
by the senior. And that's probably not good. And so what we want to do is we want to help the industry embrace the opportunities to bring those who need the care into the world of the senior living communities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's out there. So if anybody wants to get in touch with us, here's my contact information. I'll have members of our team get involved
Mm-hmm.
In the process. And I think that's a wrap, Billy.
Yeah.
Any last minute words of wisdom?
No, I think that as you're talking about that 5-hour customer service, what I kept thinking is the industry has changed so much in terms of what it once was. And there's some words that are not used anymore, nursing home being one of them. And I think that's part of this is we as being part of the senior living industry, along with our community partners and people that we're not partnering with, have to do a better job of educating the consumers out there that are potential consumers. And so I think that that's where we have done an excellent job of, you have to educate in these facilities, communities, homes that people are offering have changed so much in the care and the services that they offer. They're beautiful inside and stuff. And I think that's part of this customer experience that we have to change. And you have to dig into your own, am I projecting my brand the best way possible so that I'm busting that stigma?
Wow.
That's my closing
remarks.
That
was a wise old out. Anyway, thank you all for joining. We'll be doing this again in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Yep.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.